Yeah, I'm live. Okay, so we keep on going. 5-1 left angle cross of education. Ooh. The 5-1. The most important result of the right angle's experience of leaving E is the left angle's recognition that everything of value for us will be dependent on what we know and how much we know. And not the knowing a damn prophet's not our knowing. The prophet says, I spoke to an angel. Yeah, well, in Berlin years ago, I stayed in the house of a channeler, a crazy, crazy woman, a blind channeler. I stayed there a couple of days and I'm readings in there and I taught a course in there. And one morning I come down for breakfast and she's sitting across the table from me and she was channeling Seth. And she said to me, Seth says that you and I should work together. And I said to her, doesn't he have my number? That basically ended our relationship. I'm a fifth line being. I don't like prophets and I don't trust them. The fifth line says, I'm practical, show me. When the voice shows me logic, I said, okay, I'll be a nut for you. But show me something practical, show me something logic. This is the whole thing about education. Yeah, prophecy is very nice, but you claim you're the only one who knows. I want to know. I want to know how it works. When I know how it works, then everything is okay, and we don't need to. This is a universalizing principle. Education is a universalizing principle. Everyone has the right. One of the deeper things that I feel about the mundane plane is the denial of education to females in the world. It's one of the greatest tragedies that we have in our modern world. There are approximately 400 million little girls that are not allowed to be educated on this planet. It's just not. If you deny a female child an education, you deny the child an advantage. You slow down everything. You cannot change the tribe. You can see that in the Taliban in Afghanistan and this whole movement that basically you want to keep your woman ignorant, strip them of all their power, make them illiterate, and don't even allow them to go out into the street without a guide. And this is not a knock against Islam. I don't have anything against Islam. I don't have any opinions. It's just about the obvious. Education is a universal right. Anyone who devises the universal right is sick, and the sickness is something that is contaminated all of humanity. The education of male is mostly wasted. The only thing that they're interested in, learning about the whole, are not very impressive. But the reality is that we deny females the right of education. Now look at the fifth and sixth line up here, young education, that was exclusively for the young. And yet this universal principle, and yet the young dominated. You can see that. You know how recent it is that a female child has the potential for any kind of education. What the exceptions of servitude into convents and religious institutions, where they were taught was just perverse anyway. Nothing has been more detrimental to the development of this plane than the denial of female education, and it's been going on ever since stupid men figured out that they were responsible for impregnating women. And we lost the matriarchy, and we got this ridiculous patriarchy. It's absolutely ridiculous. No choice what to do. We have to go through the stage. But it is obvious how deficient it is. I never realized in my not self life how stupid men are. And I didn't realize that the great mystery of woman for men is that men don't realize that women know that they're stupid. It's a thing that terrifies men the most. She thinks I'm stupid, and it's true. And every woman knows that. There isn't a woman alive who looks at her man and doesn't say, shit, he's stupid, because it's true. And then the men steal all the educating. I mean, it's unbelievable. So when you're looking here, we have a real problem here. I'm a real heretic because I'm the mother's son. I'm the father's son. I'm the son of a bitch. Hey, I'm the mother's son. I look, and we have done. I look at this crazy world and say, geez, we have done an enormous disservice to the female spirit for the detriment of humanity. And the cure is here. No other place on the wheel. I don't care where you look. No other place in the wheel. Here's the cure. The heretic that wakes up and says, I will not do this anymore. My wife and I have a foster child in Bangladesh, a little girl, and if it weren't for us, she would not never be educated. Now, it's not to set up a kid a big deal. All of us can afford such thing. It costs $20 a month or something. It's ridiculous. But without support, without the ability of collective to recognize the importance of this, these children are denied, and the children's children are denied, and the string of ignorance goes on forever and ever and ever. It's one of the things that we come to grips with. Look at the politics. It's like looking into the new Spanish government. You can really see the difference between the right and the left. Here's the new leftist government in Spain, and they're conducting their new, and they're all these women with power. This is time when you're beginning to see what the yin is beginning to regain its power. And what did that? The stupid men found out that they caused pregnancy. So the smart women know how to prevent it, and it's all over. Then the sides can start balancing out again in the way it's supposed to be. So when you're dealing with a 5-1, what you're dealing with is the inherent paranoia of the young and the yin. So here's the configuration of the 12 gate. It's the yang that's afraid to educate the yin. Ask my daughter to what it's like to be awake at 28 and have to deal with men who are not self. And the moment that you reveal to them what is that you know, even the surface of that is what you know, and how fast they run away. There's nothing more terrifying to men than a woman that will look under his skin. So the young's paranoid. So the young figures out all kinds of ways to try to limit the education of the young. This is the not self of this. This has to be awakened. Don't know what that has to do with the 5-1. Anyway, we go to the 5-2. This is about the potential that we have today to transform education into a universal principle, something that I do by sitting in my little studio at home and being able to reach out to the globe through the medium that is there. And again, you can see that education is very much tied into the potentials of the 2-5s and the 5-2s in this area. This is something to keep in mind. There has never ever been a better time for 2-5s and 5-2 than in the era that we live in. Because of the technology, the same thing could be said of the 2-4. And in many, many ways, the same could be said of the 6-2. In other words, this shyness, this leave me alone, this hermit no longer has to be truly a hermit. You can be truly present. You can live a virtual life. You can virtually integrate with others. I've never communicated with so many people, but to do it virtually makes it possible not to deal with aura. You don't have to deal with the complexities of the rituals that we go through. We meet each other, talk to each other, say goodbye, all that stuff. It's just when you get an email from me, you know what I mean. How short can he make it? How crisp can it be? It's been like a favorite poem of E. Cummins. He said, Adam had him, Eve grieved, and that's the movie here. And this concretization of education is really something, grounded into the form. We have to be educated. If we're not educated, we're always going to be slaves of the prophets. We don't want to be slaves of the prophets, not at all. Not as out here on the 5th and the 6th line. No, 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 no. That's a biggie.